It's like Edelweissen. In Japan, they're letting everyone know, okay, people, it's time to stop working, right? It's time to go home, wrap things up, stop putting in so many hours, right? Unfortunately, that's not the case for Japan. So you're gonna see me now, my video is slightly different. Instead of just talking off the cuff, I'm actually gonna have talking points. So today is a special day because technically speaking, Foundups, EDUIT, really launches today. And why is that? Because today we secured an AI partner. Well, we haven't secured yet. We have to go through the marriage agreement and all that and the prenup and all that stuff. But I'm pretty confident, based on my conversation today with Oleg, that we're gonna have a super happy, honeymoon period, marriage, and the entire world is our oyster. So we have a Boston AI team with offices in Dubai and China working on Foundups. Already thinking, already going through my doc, already going through, right? And I want to talk about EDUIT. We're a nonprofit. We're not a for-profit. So we are launching EDUIT, and I went down the whole for-profit trying to do Foundups and all that bullshit. So we're not doing that. My master's degree is in nonprofit management administration, right? I've worked for a company that's raised over $3.5 billion. That's with a B. Shout out to National Community Development Services. And to all them folks out there, I still have your Bible. I'm going to be turning your Bible into AI and selling it back to you. It's called True North. It's their IP that they developed. And it's IP that I'm going to develop to help all the EDUITs that I'm setting up. But I want to talk about EDUITs, EDUIT Inc. Global. Our corporate, the founding EDUIT is 23 years old, 22 years old, right? Technically speaking, 2001, early 2001. It got its, but we were technically set up in 2000, but we didn't get the paperwork until 2000. And, officially we were incorporated in 2001, but unofficially we were 2000, because that's when we started working on Digital Arena and EDUIT. And EDUITs that I'm setting up are actually DANOs, decentralized autonomous nonprofit organizations. DANOs is something that I proposed back in 2019. Instead of DAOs, DANOs. And the way that I'm setting up EDUITs as a DANO is introducing a new class of member called a stakeholder. And a stakeholder has a tablet. So the stakeholder, in order for the laws of the bylaws of the organization to change, or the articles, it requires 2/3 approval of the stakeholders. There's only one stakeholder per family. Okay, so, only a family may have multiple tablets, but it's only one stakeholder, right? So you can't game the system, right? It's not per person, it's per tablet. And the tablets work and they create a family unit. Think of a nuclear unit, and that nuclear unit ultimately is, has a vote. Now, maybe we'll have a case where if the family is separated, right, and the AI deems that's so and validates that, maybe it'll give the vote also to, but that's something that I'm not worried about right now. The second thing is bylaws are majority, articles are 2/3 vote on it. And the AI will explain the change and everything else. The idea here is that we don't have a reoccurrence of OpenAI. OpenAI had noble beginnings, and it was hijacked by Microsoft, the competitor of Google, and now these two behemoths are fighting each other, right? Every country will have an EDUIT. Now, I have United States. I'm setting up Japan. Cool, in Japan, I'm technically set up because I can be a DBA. I'm a DBA doing business as EDUIT Japan right now as an individual. So technically speaking, I have EDUIT set up because in Japan, I can go to a bank right now and set up EDUIT Japan and have it set up. However, I want to set it up as a formal entity, corporation, and I'm looking for stakeholders, right, who will come in and make a contribution, right? Because one of the key things, if you ever do a nonprofit, is you don't give away seats. You pay to play. If you're sitting on a nonprofit, you have to have skin in the game. Otherwise, you create a bad precedent. And that's fundamental. One of the biggest mistakes nonprofits have is they put people on their board that aren't vested in the organization. So we are a nonprofit. Doesn't mean we can't make a profit. It just means that we don't give out dividends or shares to individuals. Okay, we have no shares, no dividends. But each of these organization holds the license. Now understand, we are developing EDUITs to be open source. We're going to make everything we build you're going to be able to make your own at any place. We're going to have specification requirements, and we're going to pretty much make them at cost. There's not going to be a lot of profit to be made off EDUITs. And here's why. Because I want to make it extremely hard for the competition, for-profit companies, to compete with nonprofit EDUITs. Because none of them are going to give you a token. None of them are going to do all these other things that we will do. We will roll out a token for EDUITs. It will be independent of the nonprofit, or maybe part of it. In some jurisdictions, it will be part of it. In other jurisdictions, well, we have to look at the law. Think of the token as the same way that BitClout raised their $50 million on their token. It is token as code, right? That's all it is. Token as code. And it's nothing more than that. And it's not associated with any group or individual. It's just token as code. It's like Bitcoin, right? It's like saying you own Bitcoin. You don't. Everyone has access. So obviously I've got good attorneys in DC that will figure all this out to make sure that the investors that we have coming in are not putting themselves in a bind. All right. So the other thing is with these nonprofits, they're going to have a sunset clause. There's sunset right here. A sunset clause, which meaning that when it becomes possible that AI can move straight to becoming a DAO, right? A nonprofit DAO, a DANO, a pure DANO, then the entity dissolves, and it has no board of directors. It's all run by AI. This is when OBAI, Open Beneficial AI, right? OBAI steps up, right, and becomes the board in a way, right, and interacts with everyone else. We don't need the board. We don't need everyone. We don't need, imagine politicians without politicians, right? Everyone has a vote. What do you want to happen? Why do we need politicians? We don't. We're headed there. That's part of social beneficial capitalism. Everything is changing, my friends. Everything is going to change. But we're going to lead the way with EDUITs, and EDUIT, the organization. So this is, it's okay. How are you going to make money, right, for it? Well, there are 55 million households in Japan. And remember, I really don't care about the licensing of other countries. If you want to license and form EDUIT, then the way you do that, you go to eduit.org, you sign up for the highest level Patreon, which is $300 or something, and that grants you, first come, first serve, to set up an EDUIT in your country. So simple as that. If you go up there, work with me, I will send you the letter of authorization from the corporation. Not only that, it gives you nomination status to be on the board of directors for EDUIT. We can have 101 members on that board of directors. Think of it as the United Nations, right, in Washington, D.C. So my goal is for pretty much every family in Japan to have one. And having had kids here and everything else, there's some unique aspects of Japan that Asia has that America doesn't have. For example, the father, for a lot of families, don't have a chance to interact with their child. EDUIT provides that interaction, it then provides that interaction with the child. It becomes kind of a mediator. So that the child growing up doesn't grow up without their dad. The dad's there every day with them. And, you know, and the love and everything else expressed by the Father is right there. So imagine coming home, you're in Osaka, you've worked all day, you've had to go out with clients, you're a little, you know, tipsy, you come home, and there's your son. Hey, Dad. Hey, how are you? Oh, I'm good. What was your day? Yeah, I went to Hoi Quinn. And you see pictures of his Hoi Quinn, right? You see this, and oh, I had a nice conversation with my best friend, and the father sees the best friend, right? Because the AI is there with him, right? And it's videotape all this. So it creates this little mashup that delivers to the dad. He says, I love you so much, and make sure you help mom and everything else. And the child may not even speak yet. Maybe just a baby. Maybe, you know, it's just 1 year old. But it is speaking, has the AI, and it sounds like the baby because it has the AI knows the sound of the voice, and it creates the sound. And, you know, and then the next day, when the father's there and they're looking down, the boy wakes up, he sees the father. Hey, buddy. Ohayo, good morning. Buenas mañanas. You know, all languages, just speaking. The baby is hearing all languages, right? And and coming up, and you know, and the AI delivers the message right to, just like this. Hey, I love you. You're such a pretty boy. You're such a pretty boy. I love you so much. I love you so much. What a goody, 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 right? All the different methods that imprinting happens via the AI. And so imagine, the units are going to sell for $995. That's the retail. I said it at the very top, right? Maybe it'll be cheaper. If we can make them cheaper, we'll make them cheaper. If we'll retail them, we'll resell them. I'm headed to, in the next coming weeks, I'm going to be going to China. I'll be meeting with our partner there. We're going to be, I'm going to be doing some research. And we're going to build out the prototype, UnDaoDu, to you and yours in the heartland of Zen. And let me send you some of that do of UnDaoDu. Undo, people with a smile and a laugh. Dao, help. And finally, do. Serve your family. Serve your community. Serve your planet. UnDaoDu.